If you're having trouble finding the best headshot sensitivity for your device after the update changed it from 100 to 200, you are not alone, because many players are frustrated that their shots are either body shots or go over the enemy's head, and this causes them to lose a lot of rank matches, 1v1s and clutch situations. And on the other hand, copying another person's sensitivity, maybe it's a pro player's or a friend's sensitivity, is not gonna help most of the time because people have different drag speeds. But don't worry, in today's video I'm going to tell you exactly how you can find the best headshot sensitivity for your device so that you can start landing insane headshots, dominate matches and win more 1v1s. Now before I get on to the step-by-step process of helping you find the best headshot sensitivity for your device, first of all, let's get the basic sensitivity settings cleared out. Starting off from the bottom, we have the free camera sensitivity. This used to be called the free look button sensitivity. I don't know why they changed the name, but it's basically the same thing. Now this is not important for one-tap headshots or drag headshots in any way, so you can keep it at any amount you like. Personally, I like to keep mine at 100. Now let's move on to the sniper scope sensitivity. Now the sniper scope sensitivity is not useful for one-tap headshots or drag headshots, but it is very important when you're moving the sniper scope, when you're using snipers. If you don't properly set the sniper scope sensitivity, it can cause you to miss a lot of shots when you're using the snipers. For example, if you keep it at a very high amount, when you try to move the sniper scope towards the enemy's head, it can feel a bit slippery and it can cause you to miss a lot of shots. And on the other hand, if you keep it at a very low amount, it can be hard to move the sniper scope and it can take a lot of time to move it, which can cause the enemy to take you down first. So it's very important you keep the sniper scope sensitivity at a very good amount which is comfortable for you. So here's how to set it properly. If you have a device that is below 4GB RAM, I suggest that you keep it in the range of 60 to 65. But if you have a phone that is either 4GB RAM or above 4GB RAM, I suggest that you keep it in the range of 50 to 60. Now if you feel like the sensitivity is either too much or is not enough for you, you can either increase or decrease it 5 by 5 until you find what's comfortable for you. Personally, I like to keep mine at 60. Now let's move on to the 2 scope and the 4 scope sensitivities together. Now these are not important for one-tap headshots or drag headshots, but these are very important for in-scope drag headshots. If you have a device below 4GB RAM, I recommend that you keep both of them in the range of 170 to 180. If you have a 4GB RAM device, I recommend that you keep them both in between the range of 160 to 170. And if you have a device above 4GB RAM, I recommend that you keep both at 150. Personally, I like to keep both of them at 150. Now let's move on to the red dot sensitivity. Now there's a lot of confusion in the Free Fire community about what the red dot sensitivity is. Some say that it's the sensitivity of the red dot scope, and some other people say that it's the sensitivity of the red dot that's on the crosshair. Now don't worry, I'll clear all your doubts. Personally, I believe that it's the sensitivity of the red dot scope, and I have 2 reasons to believe so. The first reason is that when you decrease the red dot sensitivity and move the red dot scope, it becomes very hard to move it. And when you increase the red dot sensitivity all the way up to 200 and try to move the red dot scope, it becomes very easy and smooth to move the red dot scope, which means that increasing and decreasing the red dot sensitivity influences the red dot scope. Now the second reason that I believe it's the sensitivity of the red dot scope and not the sensitivity of the red dot that's on the crosshair is because when you decrease the red dot sensitivity all the way down to 0 and try to do headshots, either one-tap headshots or drag headshots using the crosshair, you are still able to get headshots. And because of those 2 reasons, I believe that it's the sensitivity of the red dot scope and not the sensitivity of the red dot that's on the crosshair. Now with that being said, let's talk about the red dot sensitivity for each of the RAM sizes. Now if you have a device below 4GB RAM, I recommend that you keep the red dot sensitivity in between the range of 160 to 170. If you have a device which is 4GB RAM, I recommend that you keep the red dot sensitivity in between the range of 160 to 165. If you have a device that is above 4GB RAM, I recommend that you keep the red dot sensitivity at 150. Personally, I like to keep mine at 150. Now before I move on to the most important sensitivity setting, which is the general sensitivity that's important for drag headshots, one-tap headshots, screen movement and even for fast glue wall speed, I want to talk about 2 big mistakes that players do when fixing their sensitivity, which causes them to not get headshots. Now the first mistake is copying another person's sensitivity, either a friend's or a pro player's, even if you have the same device. Now to understand this, let's imagine that there are two different people, person A and person B, and they both have the same device. Now let's say that person A has set his general sensitivity to 130, which is usually a higher sensitivity, and he drugs at a slower speed than person B. And person B on the other hand has set his general sensitivity to 70, but he drugs faster than person A. Now if person A were to copy person B's sensitivity, it will be a lower sensitivity plus his lower drug speed, which can result in body shots. And on the other hand, if person B were to copy person A's sensitivity, it will be a higher sensitivity plus his faster drug speed, which can result in shots going over the enemy's head. So that's the reason why copying another person's sensitivity, even if you have the same device, is not going to be useful most of the time. Now here's how you're going to find the best headshot sensitivity for your device. First of all, I'm going to tell you a specific range of sensitivity. For example, it might be something like in the range of 120 to 130. Now this range that I'm going to tell you is going to differ according to the RAM size that you have, and I will also tell you the range for each RAM size later on once I explain mistake number 2, because without knowing mistake number 2, even this is not useful. Now once I tell you the specific range of sensitivity, you'll have to go to the target zone in the game and try out this sensitivity with a Desert Eagle, a long range gun and a short range gun. Now if this sensitivity works for you in the target zone, you can keep it, but if it doesn't, you can keep on either increasing or decreasing it 5 by 5 until you find the number that's comfortable for you. Now to make things a lot more easy and more effective, you can also optimize the settings in the target zone, which means that you can adjust the bot distance from long range, short range, mid range. You can also make the bot stay still or keep them moving, and you can also keep their health level at unlimited HP to make things a lot more easier. Now let's move on to mistake number 2. Now doing this mistake is why you're able to get headshots in the training ground, but you're not able to get headshots in matches. Now let's say that you found a sensitivity that works for you in the training ground, you're able to do headshots consistently, but when you go into a match, you're not able to get headshots. Then you do the big mistake of changing your sensitivity again and again, thinking that's the problem. But one of the main reasons that you're not able to get headshots is because you're still not used to the new sensitivity. Now to understand this, let's take the example of doing headshots in the training ground and doing headshots in matches. Now in the target zone of the training ground, there's not a lot of pressure. You can do headshots easily because you can control your drug speed according to the range that you're in. You have a lot of time to think about that, right? And in the training ground, there isn't a lot of pressure either, because you can instantly revive back, right? After getting knocked down, you can instantly revive back. But in a game like BR, you can't always instantly revive back, because when you get taken down, you might go straight back into the lobby, right? So there's a lot of pressure, and you don't have a lot of time to think about your drug speed or the drug technique, because you are also multitasking. For example, when you're trying to take down an enemy by drugging, you might also have to think about things such as, are there other enemies there? You have to think about a different move. You have to think different steps. What are the different steps that you're going to take down the enemy? You might also have to manage multiple enemies at a time as well. So during these type of situations, you don't have a lot of time to think about controlling your drug speed. So you tend to rely on your muscle memory to do the drugging while you're thinking about these different things. Now the problem is your muscle memory might still be used to your old sensitivity, and if you keep on changing the sensitivity again and again, what you do is you confuse your muscle memory and you end up not getting headshots. So now how can you fix this? First of all, one of those ways is to consciously think about the drug speed when you're about to drag. When you're in the game, you need to take time to think about how you're going to drag according to the different ranges that the enemies are in. Now the second thing is to stick to your new sensitivity for at least like 3 to 4 weeks until you get used to it. You need to keep on practicing and make sure that your muscle memory gets used to this new sensitivity. And if it doesn't, and if you keep on changing the sensitivity again and again, you're just gonna confuse your muscle memory and you are gonna end up not getting headshots. So once you find a sensitivity that works for you in the target zone, try your best to practice that for around 3 to 4 weeks until your muscle memory gets used to it, and try your best not to change that. Now this advice on the mistakes are not only for the general sensitivity, but these are also for the in-scope sensitivity settings as well. Now with that being said, now let's talk about the general sensitivity settings for each of the RAM sizes. Now if you have a device that is below 4GB RAM, I recommend that you keep the general sensitivity in between the range of 170 to 180. If you have a device that is 4GB RAM, I recommend that you keep your general sensitivity in between the range of 150 to 160. If you have a device above 4GB RAM, I recommend that you keep the general sensitivity in between the range of 130 to 140. Personally, I like to keep mine at 140. And as I said earlier, if it feels like it's either too much or not enough for you, you can keep on increasing or decreasing it 5 by 5 until you find what's comfortable for you. Now, if you also want to know some of the other settings that pro players use other than the sensitivity settings, make sure to go ahead and check out this video. And that's it for today's video, guys. I'll see you guys later on with another video, and until then, take it easy, fam. Peace.